Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, dear delegates. In today's program, we are going to look at angle grinding machine safety. In other words, what do we need to know about angle grinding machine? As someone that has not seen the machine before, or even if you have seen and know much about it, what are the safety requirements that one needs to know about this machine for it to be used safely? My name is Jackson Oganero Jorume. And of course, this training is taking place today, December 12, 2024. It is a Zoom meeting, as you're all aware. So as the training goes ahead, if you have any question, you type your question in the chat box. After the presentation, we will look at the questions and answer them together. During the training, our mobile phones need to be off or needs to be on a silent mode so that we will not be distracted. The presentation is not too long. It's scheduled to last for about 15 minutes. Thereafter, we move into the question and answer session. Your mics are in a mute mode. Do not unmute until you are asked to do so. During the question and answer time, only one person is to speak at a time so as to maintain a high level of decorum during the discussion. Before you ask your questions, please do tell us your name and consultant. Do let us know. It's a way of making us to know you better. Feedback forms shall be shared with you at the end of this presentation. All you are required to do is to write a short feedback of your own assessment of the training, and you send it back to me via email or WhatsApp messages. Josie will share the form at the end of this training session. So, what is the learning outcome of this training? The learning outcome of this training are: one, to enable the delegates aware of what angle grinders and disc or wheels are. During the training, I will be using disc and wheel interchangeably. They both mean the same thing. Two, the hazard and safety measures for the safe use of angle grinders and wheels. And three, maintenance and storage of angle grinders and wheels. The lesson outline for this training goes as follows. One is a question asking us about what is angle grinders. Two, the type of angle grinders we have by way of their energy utilizations. Three, types of wheels or types of a grinding disc. Four, hazards associated with angle grinders. Five, general safety measures. Six, disc mounting safety or wheel mounting safety. Guard mounting safety. Require personal protective equipment, PPE. And last but not the least, inspection, maintenance, and storage of angle grinders and wheels. What are angle grinders? Angle grinders are power tools that are used for cutting, grinding, and brushing or cleaning of workpiece surfaces with the installed disc. These include metal work such as cutting rebars or cutting steel plate, grinding or polishing of welding joints, cutting of ceramic tiles to size. These tools come in different sizes and belong to the family of tools known as abrasive wheels. Angle grinders are commonly found in construction site and maintenance workshop. Angle grinders are one of the most prevalent tools in the construction industry. The photograph on the right-hand side of your screen shows the typical angle grinder with the key components listed. You have the jar head, the air vent, the disc, spindle lock, you have the guard, no volt release switch, brush, and cut sleeve, as well as a side handle. Types of angle grinders. As I said earlier on, based on their energy utilizations, there are basically three types of angle grinders. These are pneumatic angle grinders, mains power angle grinders, battery-operated angle grinders. The photograph at the bottom of the screen to your left is the one of pneumatic angle grinder. This used to be very prevalent on site in the 90s. However, these days, the photograph at the top of your screen to the right-hand side, which is a main power operated, is the most prevalent type of angle grinders on site. And of course, we also have battery-operated angle grinder, which is shown in photograph number 3. This one, you can charge them, take them into your office, take them into your workshop, charge them, and you take them to your workplace without any cord. So there is no risk of cord damage associated with battery-operated angle grinders. Types of discs. The type of work activity that the angle grinder is intended for determines the type of disc that is installed on the grinder. These include cutting disc, grinding disc, brushing disc, diamond cutting disc. The first photograph on the bottom of the screen to your left is that of a cutting disc or cut-off wheel. The maximum speed, which is the revolution per minute, RPM, is 50,200. And then we have the grinding disc top right-hand side of the screen with maximum speed of 6,500 RPM. There is the brush disc with RPM of 12,500. And of course, diamond cutting wheel with a maximum speed of 30,200. Hazard associated with angle grinders. The first hazard on our list is fire and explosion. Grinding activity presents a lot of sparks, and it is actually a naked flame operation. And so if sparks ignite flammable or combustible material nearby or below grinding operation, fire or explosion can easily ensue. Number 2 is noise. Grinding activity generates a lot of noise. 3, foreign objects getting into the eyes. 4, electric shock from frayed or defective power cord. 5, high-speed flying particles. A grinding wheel speed ranges from 6,000 to plus 11,000 RPM or revolution per minute. From the grinding wheel itself, if the disc gets shattered in the course of the operation, the pieces travel like a bullet, and so it should not come in contact with anybody. And also from the workpiece being grinded. Another hazard is inhalation of dust and fumes generated. 7 is musculoskeletal disorders, MSDS, and which result from repetitive use of the equipment and awkward body positioning. And then poor housekeeping. These are the hazards that are associated with the use of angle grinders. So what are the control measures? Number one, before you carry out any grinding activity, develop job safety analysis. Then obtain naked flame hot work permit. Barricade the work area so that non-authorized persons will not access the area. This is followed by installation of warning sign asking non-authorized persons to keep away. Then conduct two bus stop before you start the activities. Let everybody that is involved in the work know exactly what is to be done. Install habitat around the work area. Install and uninstall disk on the grinder with a disk spanner, which is the photograph shown at the bottom of your screen to the left-hand side. What most workmen do on site is that instead of using this disk spanner, they improvise other methods of installing a disk. That is not allowed. 8, check the validity of the disk before installation. Do not install expired disk. For instance, just a minute. The disk we have here, it has expiration date of manufacture date of April 2021 and expiration date of April 2026, which is 5 years validity period. And this is where you find the validity period on a grinding disk. What most contractors do from experience of site is that they must have bought a lot of this disk and kept in their store for some period of time. And over the period that these have been in stock, their validity period have elapsed. But they will still go ahead to make use them of site because they do not just want to discard them without using them. So it is the responsibility of the person that is going to carry out the grinding operation or the supervisor or the safety officer or inspector on site to go around and make sure that the disk that is installed on the grinder still has its validity period in date. In other words, if the validity period has expired, it needs to be removed from site and destroyed immediately. Then provide a fire extinguisher and a fire warden on standby. Like I said earlier on, the activity is a naked flame operation, and so fire extinguisher should be on standby with a trained fire watch to fight any outbreak of fire during the activities. Place a fire blanket over process installations and combustible materials. You do this when you are carrying out this activity in a place where you have combustible process materials or storage materials, mostly common in brownfield operation. 11, do not keep the grinder on the bench or on the floor until the wheel has come to a complete stop. What most workmen do on site is that as soon as they finish grinding, because they want to save time, they want to make good progress on this job, while this wheel is still spinning, they will just drop the grinder on the workbench and begin to do other things. That is not allowed. 12, when not in use, disconnect the grinder from the main power supply. Why do we need to disconnect the grinder from the main power supply when it is not in use? Please put your answer in the chat box. Ensure there is no damage in the power cord. It is imperative for every angle grinder operator to carry out a visual inspection of the cord before he connects it to the source of power. 14, ensure that 220 volts to 240 volts grinders carry double insulation mark. Most grinders come from the manufacturers with 2-pin prongs. And when when it carries a two-pin prong, which means one prong is for positive, another one is for negative or neutral. There is no grounding pin. But if the grinder is made from the factory double insulated, then you don't need to bother about the earth pin. But if the machine is not carrying double insulation and mark, then it needs to be connected with a three-pin prong. And this is the symbol of double insulation. If you pick up a grinder on site and you look at the nameplate and you do not see a small square inside a bigger rectangle, or a small rectangle inside a bigger rectangle, you know it is not double insulated. 15, ensure that the grinder carries a quarterly inspection portable appliance tool testing a tag. It is a requirement of site for all portable electrical appliances to be tested every 3 months. The test involves a thorough assessment by a competent electrical technician. And once the technician checks the grinder and finds out that everything is okay, the plug is in good condition, the cable is not damaged, the dead man switch is in order, the guard is in place, then he has to install that tag on the cord of the machine. But if something is wrong with the grinder, the tag will not be installed. And so you as an inspector or supervisor, once you go to site, you pick up a grinder and you see that it does not carry any inspection tag, you know there is something wrong with that machine. So first thing to do is to withdraw it from service, get a technician to carry out an evaluation check on it. If everything is okay, a tag will be installed in it. If something is found wanting, the machine will be removed from site completely. 16, do not leave the grinder in a waterlogged area. Again, why are we not allowed to leave the grinder in a waterlogged area when we are working on site? So let's know what your answer is in the chat box. 17, ensure good housekeeping always. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment. And of course, adopt good working position always. And do not remain in one working position for too long. Alternate your working position periodically so as to avoid the MSD injury, as we mentioned earlier on. The mounting wheel safety. Before you mount a wheel or disconnect a grinder, disconnect power source before adjusting, oiling, or changing accessories. Use only parts supplied or approved by the grinder's manufacturer, e.g. nut, flange guard, blotters, etc. Ensure wheel maximum speed is higher than grinder maximum speed. The grinder motor should burn instead of the wheel flying apart. Again, why do we need the speed of the wheel or the disc to be higher than that of the grinder? Let us know your answer in the comment box. Inspect wheel or attachment for cracks or flaws. Clean wheel and grinder after use. Perform a ring test on wheels prior to mounting. Not applicable to all wheels or other attachments and accessories. And so how is this test carried out? It is carried out by gently tapping a dry, clean wheel with a light, non-metallic tool, perhaps screwdriver handle for light wheels or wooden mallet for heavier ones. The tap should produce a taut, clear metallic pin. If the sound is more like a door tug, the wheel is probably damaged or cracked and should not be used. This wheel mounting safety. Be sure the wheel fits freely on the spindle. Check that the arbor hole is the proper size for the grinder to be used. The spindle knot must be tightened enough to hold the wheel in place without distortion of the flange. Ensure guard is replaced in the appropriate position. After mounting wheel or brush and replacing the guard, stand to the side and allow 1 minute run up at no load to test integrity and balance of the wheel. What this means is that after the wheel has been installed on the grinder, stand aside, hold it firmly with 2 hands. You are not grinding anything, just press the on switch and let the machine run for about 1 minute while you are holding it away from you. This is to be assured that the disc that has been installed is firmly installed. If within that minute duration, you notice anything abnormal, like wobbling, you need to reinstall the wheel or you remove it completely. And of course, the diagram to the right-hand side of our screen, the bottom left-hand side of our screen, is the exploded diagram of a grinding machine. So the top, you have the wheel guard, followed by the wheel flange, and of course, the grinding a wheel or disc, and locking a knot.
You cannot see the
you
picture.
recall I mentioned earlier on that. You will recall that I mentioned earlier on that the locking knot must be locked firmly with the appropriate spanner. Guard mounted safety. Grinders come equipped with a wheel guard that must remain in place at all times to protect the operator from flying sparks and materials. Never operate a grinder without its guard in the proper place. This requirement is actually enshrined in OSHA Code of Hydro Regulation 2610 300B. Use a guard supplied or approved by the tool manufacturer. 4, report any missing, broken, or disabled guard. So the photograph to our right-hand side, once again, is a photograph of an angle grinder with the guard in the appropriate position that it should be. And so what are the PPE's requirements for the operation of a grinding wheel? So our list include hard hat, safety glasses, face shield. If you look at the photograph to the right-hand side, the operator in the photograph is wearing a face shield that is installed right on the hard hat. This is a best practice that is recommended in the industry. Fire-resistant clothing or FROC clothing coverall, wedding jacket or apron, hearing protection. You recall we mentioned earlier on that grinding operation is a very noisy activity. So you wear appropriate wearing protection. Safety shoes, respiratory protection, especially for operation that activity that generate a lot of dust, like grinding or polishing of concrete surfaces. And of course, leather hand gloves. Maintenance, inspection, maintenance, and storage. What are the type of inspection required for angle grinders? One is pre-use inspection every day. Before the equipment or machine is used, it needs to be thoroughly inspected. And the second one is quarterly inspection. This inspection is done under the program known as PAT, Portable Appliance Test, and it is carried out for all tool-powered appliances. And then maintenance. Angle grinders are to be maintained by competent electrical technicians only. If you are not a trained and competent storage, always store angle grinders and wheels in a dry place, free of moisture. So this brings us to the end of the presentation. We will now go to the chat box to look at the questions that have been posted. Thank you so much. I'm trying to access the screen and then. Okay, thank you, dear delegates. We have we have quite a number of messages in our chat box here, so let's look at them one after the other. Okay, from Omojade Ukuriagbe. Okay, you reported that the volume is quite low. That must have been due to the network strength. I was actually speaking at the top of my voice, and I'm still speaking at the top of my voice. Okay. Then volume is fine from my end. Oh, that is good, and that is from Stephen. Okay. So then, okay, from Johnson to volume is fine from my side. Okay, that's all right. And from Twoyo, Regene, volume, please. Okay, I'm not too sure the reason for the low volume, but some delegates have reported that the volume is okay at their own end. I suggest you check your connections for those that are still experiencing a low volume at this time. Okay. All right. So welcome. All right. So let me look at the questions. Yeah. What is the function of the double installation of angle grinders? Okay, that is a double insulation. The reason for double insulation is that in case of any damage to the insulation of the wiring inside the machine, such damage will not bring life path to the outer covering of the equipment. So in order to prevent electric shock to the operator of the machine, there is an inner protection that covers the machine itself. And that protection is made of insulation material before the outer protection. So that is the main purpose of the double insulation. So as to make the operator of the machine not to come in contact with a live pad. Recall that we measured that most of these machines, they come from the factory with two prongs, positive and negative. They do not have earth pin. And since there is no earth pin, ordinarily, if there were to be any live contact to the body of the appliance, the earth pin will drain it to the ground, thereby minimizing the electric shock that the operator will receive. But since there is no earth pin, there will be nothing to drain the live voltage that comes in contact with the body of the machine in case of any damage in the insulation. That is why we have double insulation. It's just to protect the operator. Thank you for that question. The reason for not keeping grinder in a waterlogged area is to prevent electrocution. Very good. We all know that water is not a friend of electricity. And so whenever we are using grinder, angle grinder, or we have people working under our supervisor, under our supervision, making use of angle grinders, they should be strongly advised not to keep the angle grinder in waterlogged area so that water will not get into the machine. When water gets into the machine, one, it could cause damage inside the machine through short circuiting, and secondly, can also cause fire, thereby injuring the person that is operating the machine. Reason for installing a disc with higher RPM is to prevent the abrasive wheel disc from shattering when there is excessive speed or over rotation from the angle grinder. Very correct. The reason we do not allow an abrasive wheel of lower speed to be installed on a machine with higher RPM is to prevent the disc from being shattered by the rotating speed of the grinder. So this is a very, very serious safety concern on site. First thing on site, when you go to site, you pick up an angle grinder. First, look at the nameplate of the machine. Look, you confirm the RPM, then look at the disc. What is the RPM of the disc? If it is not higher than the machine, it has to be changed immediately. Even if it is equal to that of the machine, it's still not allowed to be used. It has to be withdrawn from site immediately. The grinding machine motor drives the wheel, and the wheel is designed to rotate at higher speed to effectively grind materials. Very good, correct. So I believe that is the last question we have from our delegates. Once again, thank you so much for your active participation.
There's another question. There's another question from Toyo.
Okay. All right. Sorry. For your Fregene, do I require double ear protection whenever I'm wearing the grinding machine? When you are using a grinding machine, you are required to wear a very good ear protection, good enough at least to suppress the noise of the grinding machine coming into your ear. Ear plugs are good, but ear muffs are better. If you can get ear muffs, they are better. There are some cases that some people use ear plugs that they are like made of woolen or cotton material. They just squeeze them and push them in their ear. If that is the type you have, you need to cover that with an ear muff. But if you have the standard ear plug that is a plastic material that you push right far inside here, you may not require an ear muff to go over that. Thank you. What is the benefit of using the safety guard in the grinding machine? The benefit of using this safety guard in the grinding machine is that, one, in case the disc gets broken or shattered, the pieces should not come to you, the operator. Instead, they should go forward from you. As I said during the presentation, if a disc breaks or it fragments, the pieces fly like bullets. So it should not come in contact with somebody. And secondly, because the grinding activity produce a lot of sparks. The spark should not come directly to you, but instead should be directed away from you. And those are the two reasons why we are using the guards. Then earplugs can be used for a short-term work, while the earmuff is better for long and regular activities. Well, thank you for that contribution. Then pivotally, from Patrick Ekbundu. Pivotally, and addendum, the personnel handling the angle grinder should be medically fit and alcohol cleared via the use of breath analyzer checks. Thank you so much for that. And that brings me to the question of drug and alcohol tests. Every organization should take the question of non-use of illicit materials on site, especially alcohol and drug. And so what most HSE managers do on site is that, or what most companies do on site is that they have a program for the testing of personnel, random testing. What are they testing for? They are testing for blood alcohol content. There is a threshold of alcohol that should be found in somebody's blood. If it is up to that or below that, the person is allowed to work. But if it is up to that or higher, the person is not allowed to work. And it varies from company to company, but for a company like Chevron, where I work for a number of years, it is 0.04%. 0.04% of the blood content of the person's body. If it is more than that, the person will have to be removed from site. And of course, non-prescription drugs should not be used on site because of reactions. Some people that do self-medicate, which is not allowed, one of the reasons that is not allowed is that they could go and take medication that will make them feel drowsy. And because they are self-medicating, they will not let anybody know that they have taken self-medication, and they will go to site. So for this reason, the issue of a drug and alcohol test must be taken seriously in every organization. So, okay. I believe that is all we have from the delegates. Thank you so much. I will now hand you over back to the coordinator of this program, Johnson.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for
your
brilliant presentation. And thanks to all the delegates for your questions and your comments and your responses to the questions asked by Mr. Johnson. So it was a brilliant presentation, very direct and well informed. So I enjoyed it today, and thank you once more. So there is a feedback form that I put in the chat box. Please download it and fill it, and please return to me. If you didn't get it, just send me a message. I'll forward to you directly on the WhatsApp. So you complete the feedback form and send back to us so that we understand how you enjoy the training, or if there is any comment, any improvement, so you can also put it in that feedback form. So thank you guys for joining. Okay, I said he has not received the feedback form. I'll quickly share it immediately. Okay, I've shared the feedback form in this chat box now. So just download it and complete and send back to me. And my WhatsApp number is here. This is my WhatsApp number. If it gets to me, then it will get to Justin immediately. Okay, we've exhausted our time for today. So we'll just call it a day. And next week, Thursday, we assemble again for another intelligent discussion. So thank you all for joining, and do have a nice day.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you to Mr. Johnson and to Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, sir.
You are welcome. Thank you.